now the fallout from the WNBA incident involving Caitlin Clark and Alyssa Thomas. Thomas, who was a six-time All-Star for the Mercury, says she has received death threats after she appeared to push her fist into Clark's throat in a recent game. Rhiannon Alley is here with this story. This is getting a lot of attention.
It's getting so much attention. Alyssa Thomas says this was a complete accident. She says she didn't mean to do this, but now she's being painted as a thug, getting death threats. She's sick and tired of the league not doing more to protect its players off the court. This morning, WNBA star Alyssa Thomas blasting Commissioner Kathy Engelbert after Alyssa says she received death threats over this incident with Caitlin Clark.
There's a difference between trolling and there's a difference between hatred, and the hatred that we're experiencing over a play that honestly was a complete accident.
The play happened at last Wednesday night's game between the Phoenix Mercury and the Indiana Fever. Clark at the bottom of a scramble for the ball. At one point, Thomas appears to push into Clark's neck. Following a post-game review, the league upgrading the initial no call to a flagrant 2, suspending Thomas for 1 game.
The fist in the throat is crazy. It's crazy. It's dangerous.
Thomas says in the wake of the game, she and her family have been threatened and she's been called racial slurs, criticizing WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert for not doing enough to protect players.
We're so concerned about the safety on the court, but time and time again, we're having people threatening our lives. I'm sick and tired of it, and it's time for them to step up and have our backs.
The WNBA saying they condemn all forms of hate, saying in a statement, the safety and well-being of everyone in our community is always the league's top priority, adding the league and security team have been in contact with the Phoenix Mercury organization and remain committed to protecting all players. We did reach out to the Fever. We have not heard back, but the Fever will play the Mercury again July 9th. Whether you believe this was an accident or not, no one deserves death threats.
Right, no one deserves the threats, but people want more from the commissioner. I mean, she's getting a lot of heat, and sometimes people say justifyingly so, with all that's going on with the league, with all the attention it's receiving, new eyeballs on it, have to have strong leadership at the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rhiannon.
Is anyone curious why Robin Roberts didn't take the lead on this story? She just chimed in at the end. I want y'all to pay attention to that now. I want y'all to pay attention, close attention to that. This is ABC. Y'all know ABC and the nonsense and the foolishness that they are as an organization. When has ABC stepped up and stepped out for any other player, namely Caitlin Clark? When they know she's being targeted. It's obvious she's being targeted. Why hasn't anyone done an exclusive with Caitlin Clark to talk about the treatment she's getting by some players in the W, namely the women of color? Why haven't we heard from ABC, CNN, NBC, CBS on this issue? But the first time the story flips, now if this were the other way around, they would all cover it. I want y'all to pay attention to that. These are supposed to be credible news network outlets. Do not miss this, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss this. This is not a coincidence that they're covering this. And look whose aid they come to. Why aren't they interviewing Caitlin Clark about this incident? No, they want to interview Alyssa Thomas and talk about the alleged death threats she's now receiving. I want you to hear from other so-called fans of the WNBA and what their perspective is on Alyssa Thomas. Let's take a listen.
Me with this AT and Caitlin Clark stuff. This is how bad and this is how hateful and jealous that y'all are of Caitlin Clark. For y'all to not really see nothing wrong with the AT did, you guys have a problem. AT, like I said, AT has a big of a resume where she have no disregard, no protective safety of other players. Let me show y'all the difference between AT and a different WNBA player that went against Caitlin Clark. She didn't even touch her and nothing. But she did this jump with so class and just straight up bossy move, just straight up vet move. Just straight up genuine kind heart. And if I'm not mistaken, this player was busting Caitlin Clark ass this game, and I think they won that game. You see how when you have talent, you don't have to beat up Caitlin Clark to. We understand that the game get physical and stuff. We understand it is. I could not like you and mess with you, but if I know that I'm coming down on you hard or whatever, oh, my bad. You getting them, you pissing me off this game, but I don't want to see you hurt. Let me show y'all the difference between a player that is envy and jealous and a player that is not. Let me show y'all this classy move right here. Jackie Young, you see that? She just such a classy, humble, that move. Y'all know me, I like to give credit when credit is due. I don't mind giving out credit when it is due to other players. I'm not y'all. Okay. Just that lady untied her own shoes. She ain't even touch Caitlin. Caitlin Clark simply fell on her own 2 goddamn toes. Don't even know how she did it, but she fell. Jackie Young simply untied her shoe. She tapped her and said, "Hey, take a breather. Take a second." She untied both of hers. You see how, and if I'm not mistaken, Jackie Young whooped Caitlin Clark ass that game. She whooped Caitlin Clark ass that game and helped her. You see the difference between a jealous envy player and a player that genuinely love to see other people other people win. That just has a big heart for other people. She care about the safety of other players. You see that? Just these other players need to learn from Jackie Young, because y'all can miss me with that AT shit.
Isn't it ironic how some people get it, and the people they're trying to convince the most to get it, they're coming out and speaking against it. Now, I don't know this young lady, but she's just keeping it real. Look at the net. You gotta pay attention to this. You cannot miss this. Do not miss this. Look at the networks that are coming out and look whose side they're taking. Look, pay attention to that now. Look at the person who did that story, who was the lead person on that story. Kind of reminds you of I'm not going to go there, but I want to play someone else for you that has the same perspective, a similar perspective. Some people get it. Do not let the media turn you all into nutbags trying to defend the indefensible.
Caitlin Clark, both dominant players, but Alyssa plays on the edge. I know her. Yeah. And Caitlin sometimes embellishes at times in certain instances. And so when you have a scrum, like you said, there needs to be a vigilance, but also this created a position where the league is now forced to be reactive. Mm-hmm. And instead of having a control of not just calling fouls, now the league is reacting and doing something that it rarely does on a non-call.
Because nobody can be normal when it comes to Caitlin Clark, Shanae seems to think that the league reacted off of a still image, and what happened with AT and Caitlin wasn't that bad. Shanae, girl, be for real. And the fact that she said AT plays on the edge, no, she plays dirty, okay? Stop gaslighting us. Stop sugarcoating it. Stop trying to make fans believe what they see with their own eyes isn't happening. She plays dirty, and it's time to call a spade a spade. And the fact that she said Caitlin sometimes embellishes, alluding to the fact that she was faking, is just disingenuous. The fact of the matter is, if the refs had done what they were supposed to do during the game, they would have called a flagrant 2, Alyssa would have been ejected, and that would have been the end of it. There would have been no suspension. But the fact that they did not call it is why there was mass outrage and led to a suspension after the fact. Giving a player a flagrant 2 after the game has ended is pointless unless there is a punishment attached to it. Hence the 1-game suspension. Like, it's useless to give a flagrant 2 if there's nothing else that comes with it. If you get a flagrant 2 during the game, it's an ejection. Just like when Marina Mabry got the flagrant 2 after the game was over, after she knocked Caitlin to the ground, there was no punishment that came with it. So it was absolutely pointless to give her a flagrant 2 at that point. And a lot of fans keep bringing up the fact that Alyssa Thomas literally body slammed Angel Reese down to the ground. She literally grabbed her by her neck while she was in the air and literally slammed her to the ground. And I think that was horrible. But you know what? Alyssa Thomas was ejected from that game, right? She got a flagrant 2, which she should have. and she got ejected. Sophie Cunningham was also ejected when she pulled JC Sheldon down to the ground when they had their tussle. Ejected from the game, which is exactly what should have happened the other night. Shanae, I'm sorry. Nobody cares that you know AT. The fact that so many people are going overtime trying to prove what Alyssa Thomas does on the court is normal. Nothing is normal about how she plays basketball. Okay. And the PR is wild. The fact that her teammates are posting these long think pieces and fans are holding up free AT signs. Like, sorry, I'm not moved.
Now I want y'all to pay attention to this, because this was not taken care of when it should have been. This is where we are now in this fiasco. The refs didn't do their job. Now, Alyssa Thomas is saying the commissioner is not doing her job. No one is holding Alyssa Thomas accountable for her type of and style of play. Everybody know how Alyssa Thomas plays, but everyone is ignoring what she does and how it impacts other players. No one cares about let's leave the orientation out of this. Let's talk strictly basketball. It's unnecessary, Alyssa Thomas, the way you play. That's not toughness you're displaying. That's not even basketball. It's not basketball. But yet, Robin Roberts, Manuel Acho, Shanae Agumake, Sydney Colson are all making excuses for your style of play. Remember Angel Reese? What was that about? You buffaloed that one girl on that charge? What was that about? And look how you act. Look how you act when you took down Angel Reese. And that was her rookie season. Angel, you didn't get up with the smoke you had for Caitlin when y'all started the 2025 season in Indiana. You know, when you act like Caitlin just knocked you down. Where was that energy? Where was that smoke for Alyssa Thomas when she horse collared you? See, selective smoke. Yeah. So watch how you try to come at other people. If you didn't come at, and Caitlin didn't do half of that to you, and you was about to lose your wig behind that flop you did at the beginning of the season, and then lied about you heard a racial slur. Somebody said a racial slur to you. Girl, please. Now, Alyssa Thomas, apologize. Apologize to Caitlin Clark. Apologize to the league for the embarrassment you have made it right now. This is not the attention the league wanted. I promise you it's not. And here is the irony, and I said this in another video. You all have been going after Caitlin Clark's fans for all of these years. And look how you all are acting toward this young lady who has only helped this league more than Alyssa Thomas ever will. Ever will. More than Asia Wilson ever will. More than any of these stars you all are going to bat for ever will help this league. But y'all just hate it. Where is the hate? Look at the hate. Where is this hate coming from for someone who hasn't done anything to you, but is trying to do for you and everybody? Sheila Johnson talked about Caitlin Clark shouldn't have been on Time magazine. It should have been the entire WNBA. Well, she's helping the entire WNBA, including you, Sheila Johnson. Is that not good enough? Like, share, comment, and subscribe. You all have a blessed day. I'm out.